All right, so Reggie, you and I have both worked a long time with churches,
Mm-hmm.
helping worship teams to be more musical
Mm-hmm.
and helping them to work together as a team.
Mm-hmm.
So, from your experience, what are the major things um, that church groups basically need help with?
Church groups, technical side, because most choir groups they on a voluntary basis.
Yes.
So there are few individuals who are really talented there, and then anyone can come in and join.
Yeah.
But you find that that person all they have is the love for music, really. But
Sure. No talent.
But they try to sing it goes the other way.
Yeah.
So sometimes the technical side on the I'm talking about the singing side, teaching them choir parts, like the basic choir parts, because mostly in churches it's just the basic three parts, four parts mostly when it's soprano, alto,
Yeah.
tenor, and bass.
What do you find with vocalists when it comes to harmony? Why do some people get it and some people not?
I think it's just knowledge. It's knowledge and having like an ear for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Some people just don't have the ear for it.
Can you train the ear? Can you train someone?
Yes, an ear can be trained.
So you teach them the part to begin with, but later on they need to sort of start finding their own spaces within that as well.
Yes, because what I see mostly with choirs that people who don't have a trained ear. Sometimes they depend on the choir master to always come and teach them that this is your part.
Yes.
Same song every week, it'll be the same thing.
Yeah.
You sang the
Gotta
song
teach
last
it
week,
again.
come again, you have to learn that part again.
Yeah.
And sometimes during the church service, they still need a conductor in front, like to come in and remind them that, okay,
Yeah.
this is the part that you're
Yeah.
singing, you're singing the wrong thing, or you're singing, yeah.
So in the past, not what churches, but what type of churches have you worked at, and what have you helped them with?
Well, mostly I've worked with Pentecostal churches, charismatic churches.
Yes.
And mostly I've done like different things. I've seen that choirs they vary, and when you get to a place it's always new. You cannot always expect the same thing. Sometimes I get to a place and then I see that the problem is not the vocals, the problem is the band. The band doesn't come through for rehearsals, and so sometimes it's just talking about order in the worship team. Sometimes it's talking about strategizing what you do for conferences, which songs, how you prepare for a musical concert. So yeah, it's been different things all across.
So as far as the actual band, I know you work with the vocals as well. As far as the band for a church, how do you help them?
The number one problem I've seen, like in most of our African churches, the number one thing I've had to struggle with in bands is bands that play too loud.
Yes.
And bands that clash with each other when they play.
Yeah.
So mostly like you can't cover everything, when you're meeting people, but those are the two main things I've seen, like teaching them to play together.
Yeah.
Teaching them to give each other spaces, knowing not to overplay.
Yeah.
Overplaying is another thing.
Yeah. What I've seen with churches that I play with, I see guys that they can't see the whole picture, and they can only hear their own part. They focus and they only hear themselves. And sometimes I see a group, any band actually, playing that they're all part of one painting, right? So what I see with groups is that I find I like the analogy of a painting. So if you're making a painting, you don't want everything to be blue. It's not a painting anymore. Well, maybe there are some paintings that are just blue. But if you want something to have interest and to have depth and to have something interesting in it, you need different colors, different variations, people in different places. So, for instance, if the pianist is playing in the midsection, maybe you have your guitarist playing higher up with a capo, so he's filling the higher register, and you have the bass obviously in the bass. So you've got different levels, different colors of sound happening to fill out the space. Otherwise everything's blue. And then you're just talking about volume. Also, if you've got three guitarists in a group, it really doesn't help that they're all playing the same thing. You may as well just have one and turn up his volume. And that's a big thing, to try and teach a guitarist to actually play something different. Maybe one can be playing in a higher register or playing a riff part or something that happens. So it's just not the same all the time, and that's the biggest flaw I find within a church setting, is that everyone can go flat out at the same thing. And it's the same with vocals. You don't need 10 people singing the melody. It's pointless. Rather have two people, especially if they got mics, have two people singing melody, preferably in different voices, so they shouldn't sound like each other too much. Otherwise, what's the point? Volume up. And they also shouldn't. If you've got 10 of them, they have to learn harmonies. Otherwise, what's the point? And that's the beauty of a choir. Brings depth to something. It shouldn't be just volume. Otherwise, some churches, the lead singer has the mic and they just shout into it constantly, right? And you go, step away from the mic, lady. Step away. Or whatever it is. Anyway, carry on. So if you're working with the band, how do you work with them? What have you encountered in the past that needed a little bit of tinkering to make it work better?
Well, you've already mentioned that whole thing when the keyboard player is clashing with the bassist, because they occasionally have to play on the lower end, and then the bassist is just being masked in the sound. Or sometimes I'm not against keyboard players. The keyboard player is playing the high end and is masking the guitar as well. So that's one thing I've come across. And the other thing is, musicians are very passionate. And whatever they do, we do it passionately, because I'm an instrumentalist as well. So you find that most of the times you want to try your new chop during practice session, whether it be on a guitar, you get tired of them fixing their voices, and then you zone off, and then when they come back to the song, they say, let's take it from the top. You're just playing many chords on your guitar, or many chords on your piano, or as many chops as you can on your drums. That's what I've had to deal with. That guys, you have to be patient with the vocals, and be involved in what they're doing, and not be self-consumed with the drive and passion that you have, because
well, it's the same dynamics in a normal band, but in a church context, you have to realize that you're actually serving your congregation. So you're helping them to be involved. And if they're concentrating on too many they're focusing too much on the guitarist because he's like overgoing, then you've lost them. The point of it is gone, because now all they're watching is the guitarist, not aware of anything else. So that's a concern to watch out for. It's a big thing.
True.
You're always looking into how can you serve that congregation or those people that you're busy playing to. In a sense, it's the same. It's also dynamics. We look at dynamics within a group. If you're working with the dynamics of a song, very few songs should start strong and end strong, and be strong the whole way through. There should be a dynamic within a song, and every song has a value, and should have a value or a place where it goes of interest that also takes you somewhere. You're in a journey with a song. So I've found in churches sometimes that you can have someone or a group that gets up and they play it. They start strong at the song, and they play it exactly the same from the beginning to the end. And that serves no one, because there's no interest there. They may as well just put on a CD, because that's what the CD is doing. But in the context of live, you're able to take those definitions, you're able to take it to somewhere where it's gently played, or there's some interest in it, and you bring it back again and people join you again. True. There's all those different dynamics with that. Well, Reggie's available. He's been doing it for a long time. I also do it for a long time. I've in a few churches helping out. But Reggie's available as well to help out some churches. If you would like to have him come along and have a look at your band and see how we can improve it and how they can work better together to serve the congregation, give us a shout. Leave some comments. You know where to find us, and then we can tailor make it and see what will work in your situation. Every situation is different because you're working with people, and you're working with people at different levels of their skill set, and there's different levels of sensitivity. Every single group's going to be different, and it takes someone who is aware of that and sensitive to that and able to come in and see it from an overview and be able to help people to fit together and work together. Then that can be very helpful. So give us a shout about that. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so the other thing I've seen with choirs and I've encountered while working with music and church groups is I've been to music groups where you get there, everything's okay, the vocals are so good, the band is okay, but then it's not, they can't express themselves well on stage. You find that the lead singer is closing their eyes from the beginning of the song right through the end of the song,
Yeah.
and the choir is just at the back. They're singing beautifully, but
They're in their own world.
yes, they're in their own world, and we also work on that. So I've gotten to help people to get them out of that shell, to
Yeah.
help them.
Not everyone feels natural on stage as well,
Mhm,
or in front of people.
So it's things that you have to actually learn and
Yeah.
and go through it through the stages of improving yourself.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And there's a difference between humility, which is genuine, and humility, which is, oh, I don't sing well, and I shouldn't be in front of people, and I shouldn't. You know what, you're serving. So in the end, you've got to take yourself out of it and say, how can I be used to serve these people? And if that means getting up there boldly and doing something, then you have to almost take yourself out of the equation and see yourself as a vessel being used to do this. And that helps you with confidence because then you know it's not about you actually ultimately, it's about you contributing and being a part of everything. So that's where you can see someone who says that they're an introvert and they need a change in their mindset as to how they approach this so that they can actually be the best that they can be to help people. I've seen that before. Yeah. You had another point.
A lot of politics.
Sure. So how do you come in a place where there's church politics make a difference?
Yeah, I already pick it up when I'm introduced to the choir members. You know, sometimes they're happy because the pastor is bringing in someone to come and straighten out things and help people sing.
Yeah.
And then you see it when the mic is being tossed around. If so and so is leading, I don't open my mouth. I just mumble.
Oh my gosh.
If so and so is singing, I'm not energetic, and or if so and so picks this song, I don't like this song. I will not sing it the best way I can. So sometimes it's just natural. There's some songs that you just don't vibe to or you don't like. So, but it takes a heart of serving, knowing that it's not about you. You just have to be able to sing any song, sing any genre, and support whoever is leading on the mic.
Yeah.
Yes.
And the other thing I wanted to ask, what do you do when you have, for instance, you've got 3 competent people and 3 not really great, but they needed people in the band. So they brought them in, but they're not at the same level. How do you deal with that?
Okay. You mean on the band side?
On the band.
I speak to the band members and ask them to be able to teach the incompetent ones on like the main. You find that church rhythms are simple. Like you can play the same drum beat from someone first song of praise to the last song of praise, just one beat. So I normally make sure that the ones that are still learning, they learn the main skeleton beats. Like mostly the if it's a church that plays a lot of hill song, you know which beat to play. It's mostly when it's praise rhythms, you just teach them just one is fine. And then when it's an African praise type of setting, you know the soca beat and the traditional beat. That's what they have to learn. And when it gets to the worship side, you know that this is the type of setting that. So it's not that difficult. They just have to master maybe.
So you're able to actually quickly take them from where they're feeling not quite right with it to bringing them into the space where they can really fulfill their part of the team. Eh? Quite
That's
quickly.
very easy.
Yeah.
That's very easy.
Yeah.
That's you just get them to learn the basics and the
and
most
do it well.
key chords, key elements. And some people learn by ear, so it's best to teach them using songs they like, or using the main songs that are sung in the church
In the
service.
church, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.